What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Breakdown. SEC, SEC, SEC. Wait a second. You guys got beat. Your best team got beat. In fact, your best two teams got beat. We're not going to talk about Georgia, though. We know what happened to them. Your best team in the SEC got stomped by Clemson, who's definitely a worthy opponent. And as I was telling some of the people on my live YouTube yesterday, I had picked I had picked Clemson in this matchup. I just didn't publish the video. I wish I had of, because it would have made me look like a genius. So coming into this matchup, I had left comments on other people's videos talking about how Tua's a very accurate passer, but Tua does not read defenses very well. And that proved to be the case last night when he threw interceptions when he just looked and threw it. He didn't take time to read the defense. He looked at his first option and he threw the ball. And Clemson baited him a couple of times, and it paid off. One for a pick six, and another for an interception. So with that being said, Clemson went on to rout Alabama 44-16 behind Trevor Lawrence, who was 20 out of 32 passing, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. How about that for a true freshman? And keep in mind, this true freshman, he wasn't, from an athleticism standpoint, this wasn't Johnny Manziel. This was not. I'm losing the quarterback. Deshaun Watson. That's it. This was not like a Deshaun Watson. This was not the mobile quarterback that normally beats Nick Saban. This was a guy that primarily passes from the pocket. He can scramble when he needs to, but he's not going to pick up a whole lot of yards with his feet. And typically those quarterbacks don't beat Nick Saban. So there's a little bit of chink. There's a little bit of chinks in the armor here that have been exposed by Clemson, that it is possible to beat Alabama with a pocket passing quarterback. And he's a true freshman at that. And then his star receiver, Ross, is also a true freshman. 6 catches, 153 yards, 1 touchdown. And then T. Higgins, 3 catches, 81 yards. He's a sophomore. He'll be back as well next year, as well as ATN, the running back. So 44-16 domination over Alabama. However, Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa, 22 out of 34, not bad. 295 yards, not bad. 2 touchdowns, but those 2 interceptions really make his night not so great. And I figured that he was going to throw a couple of interceptions because he does not read the defenses. I think that will come next year. I think he'll be better at reading defenses. Very accurate passer, but doesn't read defenses very well. And he has great receivers as well. I thought Alabama probably should have just kept running the ball. Clemson wasn't really doing anything to stop the run, but Alabama, for some reason, they wanted to prove that Tua deserved the Heisman. And after last night's game, you have to ask yourself, did Tua really deserve that Heisman? I mean, Kyler Murray, Oklahoma got beat, but he didn't turn the ball over. And then he didn't play defense. So, in my opinion, no, Tua did not deserve that Heisman, and last night proved it. So all you guys that want to say that Kyler Murray didn't deserve the Heisman after taking the whooping by Alabama, well, Tua didn't deserve the Heisman either, because in the biggest game, he choked. Flat out choked. And Nick Saban panicked. He's running fake field goals when Clemson was clearly ready for it. Then you get down on the goal line, and on 4th down, your best play, you're going to try to take Tua out wide to the left and run around Clemson's defense when the guy just had surgery on his ankle like a month ago, and you're going to try that play with Tua. Wasn't a smart play. I mean, Alabama straight panicked last night, and the question has to be asked, is Clemson the new king of the mountain? I have to say so. I mean, their quarterback's a true freshman. He's going to be around for another 2 years. Their star wide receiver that put in the work on Alabama, he's going to be around for another 2 years. T. Higgins is going to be back. ATN's going to be back. Now, they will have to replace those defensive linemen, but they've recruited well. They recruit just as good as Alabama does. They will reload at that position. Will they be as good as they are? Or will they be as good as they were on the defensive line? No. But they'll still be good next year. And then within a couple of years, you can expect their defensive line to be right back to where it has been. Their secondary and their linebacking corps all look solid on the recruiting trail. So I think Clemson is the new king of the mountain, and they expose something. I don't think Alabama will quite be, they won't have that same aura of invincibility that they've had. I mean, the last time Clemson beat Alabama, they beat them in the last second. So they didn't take that aura of invincibility away. But this time, 44-16 beatdown, whooping, stomping, I just don't see how Alabama can recover from this from a standpoint of having that aura of invincibility. It's over. I'm not saying that their dynasty is over. I'm not saying that Alabama won't be in the playoffs next year. Not saying that. So before y'all start leaving comments, please listen to the entirety of this video. I'm saying the aura of invincibility is over, and their dynasty may be closer to the end than it is in the middle or the beginning. I mean, they've been doing this thing for 10 years now. So, and I think Clemson's dynasty may be at the very beginning with the Dabo Swinney. You can't help but love everything that you see about Dabo Swinney. Everything that he says seems to be pretty genuine. And if I'm a college recruit or if I'm a high school recruit and I'm coming out of high school to go and play college, if I have my choice, I'd go play for Dabo. I mean, he just seems to be a little bit more genuine than Nick Saban. Not saying that Nick Saban's a bad guy or anything like that, but Dabo just seems to be. You can tell Dabo's a really, really good person. So if it came down to those two programs, I'm gonna go play for Dabo Swinney and Clemson, South Carolina. So, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is this closer to the end of Alabama's dynasty? I know a lot of SEC fans of other teams were happy probably to see Alabama get beat. A lot of LSU fans, Georgia. I know Tennessee was probably happy. Florida fans. I know Auburn fans. I'm pretty sure you guys were happy to see Alabama get beat down the way that they did. And hey, to see them get beat down like that just proves that, hey, if your teams work hard enough, you guys can do it too. I definitely don't think that this was Alabama's best Nick Saban team. Definitely glad they lost, because had they won, the farce around college football would have been this was Nick Saban's best team. No, this was not Nick Saban's best team. Nick Saban's best team was probably the team who blew out Notre Dame. That team was much more well-rounded than this team. Better on defense. Offense was just almost as good. I mean, they were good. They played in a different way. But that offense was almost as good as this one. That offense had a stronger running game, and the passing game was just as good. They had Amari Cooper back then as well. And they had a much stronger running game. I feel that these running backs that Alabama had were probably the weakest group of running backs that they've had in a while when you compare the likes of Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Derrick Henry, Eddie Lacy, TJ Yeldon, Bo Scarborough. These running backs, I mean, they're good. Josh Jacobs is good. He'll play in the NFL. Damian Harris, he'll get his shot. Najee Harris, he'll get his shot in the NFL. But I just don't feel like these guys really had the impact. And I feel like that's the reason why Alabama rotated these guys all season, is because none of these guys really had the impact that some of Alabama's previous wide receivers have had. So that's just my opinion. Now, their wide receiver core is just as good as what it's always been, but they've had some good receivers in the past. Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, and of course Julio Jones. But I definitely don't think that this was Nick Saban's best team. Not even close. And like I said, I'm glad that from the standpoint of a big lie and a farce being told, I'm glad that they did lose, because the biggest farce on the earth would have been like this was maybe the best team of all time, or this was Nick Saban's best Alabama team, and it definitely wasn't. So, and it proved that it wasn't. So I think Clemson's I think Clemson is on the top of the hill. They completely and utterly destroyed Alabama, and with that being said, I think if they play again next year, they'll beat them again next year. I think Clemson's got better players. They're faster, more athletic, and they have a much better scheme. And I think Alabama's closer to the end of their run, because their defense is definitely lagging. So we'll see. What do you guys think? What did you guys think about the game? Were you happy to see Alabama get beat? Were you kind of sad to see them get beat? What do you think about Clemson? And will any other programs be able to rise to the level of Alabama and Clemson going forward? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments. I'm out.